a dictionary in Python. Dictionary is very important. There's structure in Python that you can use to store and retrieve the data, same as the way that you can use the list. But for the list, when we access the data or when we use the data, we have to provide it the index of the data that we want. But in the dictionary, it's different. You have to provide the key and you will get the values. For example, the dictionary is in this format. It uses the curly bracket to surround the data that you want to store. And you can store more than one pairs of key and values. You can store as many as you want. So the format is the key separated by colon and values, and separated this each pair by a comma. So this is the way that you can create a dictionary using the pairs of key and values. Okay, as I told you, it's like the list, but you can retrieve the data in the dictionary using the key and you get the values. For example, if you store the data of the book in a dictionary like this, we store the data, three pieces of data. That is the ISBN, the title, and the price. I'll show you how can we write this one. For example, if you store the data in the variable book one, you see that we have three fields, that is ISBN, title, and price. But we can store in book two also. If we consider that once we create this data, we won't change it anymore, you can use the tuples. You can use the tuples, but you have to fix the location of the data. Like the first one will be the ISBN, the second one will be the title, and the third one will be the price. And you have to communicate, you have to provide this in the comment to let other people, to let other programmers know that you store the data in this order. This is maybe is not convenience for other people to understand your code, but if you store it in the dictionary, it's quite like convenience. So to be able to retrieve the data, you can use the variable name, and instead of using the index like the list, you can provide the key. For example, if you want to get the ISBN of book one, you can use book one and ISBN. So I hope, can you see? This one is the result of ISBN of the book one. And for if you store it in a tuples and you want to use ISBN, you have to know where is ISBN. So once you know that ISBN is in index 0, you can provide the index 0 to book 2, and you'll get the piece of data that you want. So I hope that you can see how difference of the dictionary, the way that we use it, the way that we retrieve it. So if you store the data in this way, key and values, so many people use it to store the data like this. We have many pairs of ID and score. So you can use it to store the data of many IDs and scores. So I keep it in scores dict, and you can see that I randomly generated the ID and score, ID and score, ID and score. So in this case, I have 3 pairs of IDs and scores. So when you retrieve it, you can retrieve it by the key, that is the ID. So you can see that this one will be the score of the first ID. Okay, but if you provide something that is not in the key, it will cause the exception. For example, you provide something that is an error. There's no data that has this key, so it will cause an error. It will cause the key error exception. So this is the introduction of how can we use the dictionary. I'll tell you a lot of functions after this in the other video clips.